on Idea TV. We bring you innovation-driven stories shaping Africa and beyond. I am Cynthia Bassi. We begin with the development in Africa's innovation ecosystem, where Zimbabwe's 2026 tech framework brings major changes for the country's digital economy affecting cryptocurrencies, mobile money and startups. The new rules introduce mandatory licensing, steep taxes and stricter data protection obligations aiming to formalize operations while boosting regulatory oversight. Cryptocurrencies now face a 15% digital services withholding tax, DSWT, on international payments, a 2% transaction tax, and mandatory local licensing through portals. Platforms must appoint data protection officers and comply with AML regulations. Non-compliance risks fines up to 1,000 US dollars imprisonment or penalties reaching 500,000 US dollars for systemic violations. These measures provide legitimacy but increase cost, potentially driving users towards informal channels. Mobile money operators must withhold a 15% tax on cross-border payments, comply with a new data protection law, and invest in real-time RegTech solutions. Startups are subject to the same 15% digital services tax on international tools, must re-register under the COBE Act by April 20, 2026 and implement robust data governance systems. While the regulations formalize the sector and create compliance clarity, they also pose high operational costs, creating a delicate balance between oversight and market growth. Zimbabwe's new policies represent a shift towards a regulated digital economy, offering opportunities for licensed players to operate legally, access regulatory sandboxes and leverage innovations like the ZIM digital ID system, while challenging businesses to adapt quickly to a stricter fiscal and operational landscape. Moving to another news, the European Union is seeking deeper collaboration with Nigeria in science and innovation, emphasizing co-creation and joint ownership rather than simple knowledge transfer. Ambassador Gautier McNaught, head of the EU delegation to Nigeria and ECOWAS, spoke at the Nigeria-EU Science and Innovation Day in Lagos, highlighting the role of science and innovation in driving inclusive and sustainable development, particularly in areas like food security, digital connectivity, and climate resilience. The EU's engagement aims to strengthen Nigeria's national innovation systems, build institutional capacity, and support research to market pathways. Nyenke Busman, EU Director for International Cooperation in Research and Innovation, noted that Nigerian universities, startups, and SMEs are active participants in Horizon Europe, partnering with European counterparts in sectors such as artificial intelligence, sustainable agriculture, fintech, and climate adaptation. Nigeria's Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology reiterated the government's commitment to internationalizing research, boosting funding and scaling partnerships under an interministerial framework led by Vice President Kashim Shettima. The event provided a platform for policy dialogue, networking, and collaboration aiming to translate joint efforts into measurable innovation outcomes across Nigeria and Europe. Now, telecommunications activities push the information and communication technology sector's contribution to Nigeria's real gross domestic product to 10.07% in 2025. This, according to fourth quarter 2025 data released on Friday by the National Bureau of Statistics. The figure is higher than the 9.79% recorded in 2024, confirming the sector's position as one of the largest contributors to the economy. Of the total 10.07% contribution, telecommunications alone accounted for 7.29%, while publishing, broadcasting, and motion picture production made up the remainder. The sector recorded a year-on-year growth of 26.34% in the fourth quarter of 2025, significantly higher than the growth posted in the same period of 2024. Overall, the ICT sector grew by 6.85% in 2025, reflecting sustained expansion driven largely by telecom services. Nigeria's overall economy also strengthened, with gross domestic product growing by 4.07% year-on-year in the fourth quarter of 2025, up from 3.98% in the third quarter. The data highlights the increasing role of digital infrastructure and telecom services in supporting economic growth and diversification. We now go on a quick break. The stories continue when we get back.
Welcome to Idea TV, the first innovation television. At Idea TV, we bring you cutting-edge stories, insights, and shows that redefine innovation across Africa and beyond. Get ready to upgrade your mind. Idea TV is your go-to destination for the latest trending news, cutting-edge tech, and innovative ideas that shape our future. From technology and innovations, business, health, education, and agriculture, climate solutions, science, and research. Stay ahead of the curve with us at Idea Television.
Good to have you back. If you've just joined, this is Sunday Prime at Idea TV. Now, the rest of the news. The Democratic Republic of Congo has unveiled an €8.8 billion digital transformation plan from 2026 to 2030 to expand internet access, modernize infrastructure, and create jobs. The program targets 30 million people across 650 communities, aiming to upgrade telecom towers, expand fiber networks, and deploy solar-powered infrastructure in rural areas. Telecom and digital infrastructure, the plan increases towers from 5,150 to 30,000 and extends fiber optic networks from 6,000 to 31,000 miles. Solar-powered based solutions improve connectivity where electricity access are limited or is limited. A Tier 3 data center in Kinshasa, supported by local and international partners, will host AI-driven applications and national cybersecurity operations, reinforcing digital sovereignty. Economic and social impact by 2030, the plan is expected to create 700,000 jobs, boost GDP by $4.1 billion, and train 250,000 young people in AI, cybersecurity, and programming. Local startups, telecoms operators, and businesses will benefit from improved connectivity, modernized e-government platforms, and secure national data systems like the blockchain-based the Republic of Congo DRC Pass. The initiative positions DRC as a regional tech hub in Africa, leveraging its central location and mineral resources to drive innovation and economic growth. Now in Nigeria, Nigeria has reported a strong return to profitability for 2025, posting a profit after tax of 1.1 trillion naira, reversing the 400.4 billion naira loss recorded in 2024. Service revenues surged 55.1% year-on-year to 5.2 trillion naira, driven by data usage, fintech services, and voice revenue, while EBITDA more than doubled to 2.7 trillion naira, with margins expanding to 52.7%. The telecom operator subscriber base rose 7.9% to 87.3 million, with 53.2 million active data users and data traffic up 34%. Data revenue grew 74.5% to 2.78 trillion naira, becoming the largest contributor to service revenue. Our fintech services expanded 79.7% to 191.3 billion naira, supported by 3.7 million active Momo wallets. Broadband coverage reached 91.2%, with home broadband subscribers increasing to 4.2 million, highlighting the company's focus on household connectivity. MTN Nigeria strengthened its balance sheet with retained earnings of 400.4 billion naira, positive shareholders' equity of 548.7 billion naira, and a net cash position of 104.8 billion naira. Free cash flow jumped 215.5% to 1.2 trillion naira, supporting the resumption of dividends with a proposed total of 20 naira per share. CEO Toriola described 2025 as a significant turning point, citing sustained profitability, digital expansion, and the commitment to continued network leadership and financial inclusion in 2026. Now, SAFARICOM PLC is transforming into a leading force in Africa's digital economy with a $500 million 2026 strategy focusing on artificial intelligence, M-PESA financial services, and startup ecosystem support. AI integration includes the Zuri chatbot for customer service, fraud detection systems with AWS, and the idea-to-cash platform with Hawaii, improving network performance, security, and operational efficiency. With over 35 million active users, it has become a full fintech ecosystem handling 100 million transactions daily. New 2026 features include ZD Trader, allowing users to invest in stocks and bonds with minimal capital, tap and pay, split and bill, shared wallet, and M-RAT-TIBA for recurring payments. The Raja 3.0 APIs empower developers to build integrated services within the M-PESA ecosystem, while FinTech 2.0 upgrades ensure scalable performance of 6,000 to 12,000 transactions per second. SAFARICOM's Spark Accelerator program and partnerships with iHub, Sumitomo, and AWS support Kenyan startups, providing mentorship, technical resources, and market access. Success stories include HealthX Africa, Chums, and Twiva, expanding both locally and regionally. With expansion into Ethiopia reaching 11 million customers, SAFARICOM is driving digital inclusion, financial access, and entrepreneurship across East Africa, positioning itself as the central pillar in Africa's growing $712 billion digital economy. Before we call it a wrap, let's take another glance at the headlines we brought to you. Zimbabwe introduces 2026 tech regulations for crypto, mobile money, and startups. EU pushes for stronger science and innovation ties with Nigeria. And Telecom drives ICT GDP contribution to 10.07% in 2025. The Republic of Congo launches €8.8 billion digital plan to transform telecom infrastructure and data services. And MTN Nigeria posts 1.1 trillion naira profit on data and fintech growth. And lastly, SAFARICOM unveils 2026 strategy, AI, M-PESA expansion, and startup ecosystem boost. We have more updates across our social media platforms. Do well to connect to the headlines displayed on your screen. I am Cynthia Bassi. Thank you for your time.